Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Keith Lee makes AEW debut on Dynamite. Former WWE superstar Keith Lee has arrived in All Elite Wrestling. On last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, the former NXT champion was revealed as the huge signing Tony Khan has been teasing since last week. It was noted just hours prior how Lee was planned for a run in AEW and set to debut imminently, which obviously occurred during last night's Dynamite. Lee appeared to wrestle Isaiah Cassidy in a qualifying match to join the AEW Face of the Revolution ladder match at the Revolution pay-per-view on March 6, 2022. He was released from his WWE contract back on Thursday, November 4, alongside stars such as Karrion Kross, Ember Moon, Eva Marie, Nia Jax, and several others. He officially became a free agent when his 90-day non-compete clause expired last Wednesday, February 2nd. During his time with the company, he was highly successful in WWE NXT and became the first ever simultaneous NXT North American and World Champion on that brand. He was called up to the main roster in August of 2020 and earned a pinfall victory over Randy Orton in his first pay-per-view match at Payback in September that year. He was scheduled to face Riddle and Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in February 2021, but was pulled from the match. He then remained out of action until July. It was later revealed that his absence was due to contracted COVID-19, followed by a heart inflammation. After 5 months on the shelf from WWE, Keith Lee returned to Raw in an open challenge against then WWE Champion Bobby Lashley, ultimately losing the match. In the following months, Lee began working house shows and appearing on television as his Bearcat Lee persona until he was released. Top New Japan Pro Wrestling star makes surprise AEW Dynamite appearance. Just before the reveal of AEW's newest signee Keith Lee, fans watching Dynamite were also shocked to see top New Japan Pro Wrestling star Jay White make an appearance on the show. As Adam Cole and the Young Bucks were taking out Roppongi Vice in a surprise attack backstage, the members of the Elite suddenly stopped and looked shocked. Suddenly, Switchblade Jay White appeared in front of the camera clad in his leather jacket. Cole asked, quote, "What is he doing here?" as the segment came to an end. Jay White has been stepping through many forbidden doors as of late, as he is competing on both New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling on a regular basis. At the next Impact Wrestling pay-per-view on February 19, No Surrender, Jay White will go one-on-one with Eric Young. He also recently had a one-on-one match against Christopher Daniels in the main event of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. After the bout was over, he teased his appearance in AEW by saying he wanted more elite competition. AEW President Tony Khan took to Twitter after Dynamite and revealed he didn't secure White until Sunday. He brought White in because he botched his own definition of the Forbidden Door when first teasing the surprise for last night's show. In his post-Dynamite tweet, Khan said he brought White to Dynamite because he heard the fan feedback and wanted to make sure Dynamite was special. Quote, "I didn't secure Jay White until Sunday. I realized after the fact that Friday I butchered my own definition of Forbidden Door in hyping tonight. I heard the fans' feedback and wanted to ensure that tonight was a special AEW Dynamite for all. Thank you to everyone who watched." White will also appear on AEW Rampage on Friday night, but it appears he has not been signed to a contract. White is currently working a storyline in Impact Wrestling with fellow Bullet Club members Gorillas of Destiny from New Japan and Chris Bay from Impact. Shane McMahon apparently still doing work for WWE. It appears Shane McMahon is still actively involved in WWE operations in some capacity. Earlier this week, Marco Massotti, the owner of South Africa's Sharks rugby team, revealed via Twitter that he met with McMahon to discuss a partnership with WWE. Massotti tweeted a picture of himself with McMahon and Doug Sifu, the co-owner of the NHL franchise Florida Panthers. He wrote, quote, "So grateful for a night out with brothers Shane McMahon, son of WWE Vince, and Doug Sifu, co-owner of the Florida Panthers. Excited for a partnership between WWE and rugby." Massotti's tweet was sent on Tuesday, which would indicate that he met with McMahon the previous night. As widely reported, Shane McMahon received significant backstage heat for his involvement as a producer, writer, and entrant in last month's 30-man Royal Rumble match. A recent report mentioned how Shane made a pitch to enter the Battle Royal at number 1 until Vince McMahon stepped in and scrapped a lot of his plans. Earlier reports also noted that McMahon had been pulled from all Raw, Elimination Chamber, and WrestleMania 38 plans. AEW references Jeff Hardy WWE exit on Dynamite. As we've noted, Keith Lee defeated Isaiah Cassidy in his AEW debut match on last night's Dynamite. During the match, AEW announcer Tony Schiavone made a reference to Jeff Hardy abruptly walking out of a six-man tag team match at a WWE live event last December, which led to the veteran wrestler's WWE exit. The reference was made when Matt Hardy, the manager of Private Party's Cassidy, jumped the guardrail and left his protege in the ring while the match was still going on. Hardy was essentially turning his back on Cassidy. Just as Hardy jumped the guardrail, Schiavone referred to the move as, quote, erratic. Speaking on Jeff Hardy's WWE exit on his Twitch channel last month, Matt Hardy mentioned how WWE officials felt his brother's behavior was erratic during the live event in December. Quote, I know there was an issue, they said. Jeff Hardy had this erratic behavior, Matt said. He jumped over the guardrail or whatever, but look, it's Jeff Hardy. He's a weird dude and it's kind of what he does. The erratic behavior is why they gave him the drug test and they sent him home. Hardy ditching Cassidy in the ring shouldn't come as a surprise. On last week's Dynamite, Hardy gave Private Party a dressing down for their inability to defeat Jurassic Express for the AEW Tag Team titles earlier this month on Rampage. Hardy then told Cassidy to prove him wrong in a TNT Championship match against Sammy Guevara, which Cassidy lost. On last night's Dynamite, Hardy warned Private Party that this was, quote, make or break of a situation for them. Tony Khan provides an injury update on Kenny Omega. AEW President Tony Khan recently spoke with PW Insider where he provided an update on Kenny Omega. He admitted that the former AEW World Champion was working through a lot of injuries before taking time off. Tony also said he's excited for Kenny to return later this year. Quote, we miss Kenny Omega greatly, Tony Khan admitted. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time and was a dominant champion in AEW for almost a year. And I personally miss Kenny Omega being around very much. He's healing from a bunch of injuries, significant injuries, and he wrestled through all of that and had some of the best matches in history of the company while he was really beat up. He really cares a lot about wrestling and worked his ass off to fill up and make his matches great, even when he was in a ton of pain and could barely get through it. Now it's time for him to rehabilitate and heal, and he's going to come back stronger and come back, I hope, as good or even better than ever. I really believe the stuff he did while he was physically limited was so impressive. I think he was absolutely the wrestler of the year for 2021, and I'm very excited for Kenny Omega's return in 2022. It's been a long time coming, and we'd be excited to have him back. Tony Khan admitted that Kenny Omega was coming into the company with some injuries. He praised the cleaner for continuing to compete and put together some of the best matches possible. Quote, he was coming in with major injuries and he worked a really hard schedule here in AEW too. Even though we don't wrestle every day, it's really for the average wrestler. I think it's the best schedule you could get coming in once a week, Khan said. He was doing really grueling matches every week and he put himself out there for the fans and then through the pandemic. He never took any time off and for a long time there were like 5 people in the history of the company that had never missed a show, and until late last year he was one of the 5. Kenny Omega has never missed anything until late last year and it was kind of bizarre when he wasn't there. It's still bizarre when he's not around. So he's been so dedicated, and even when he was physically beaten up mentally, he was able to put together so many great matches during his title reign and before that one half of the tag team champions. AEW star to undergo a gimmick change? A gimmick change for Penta El Zero Miedo looks to be on the cards for some time in the near future. On last night's episode of AEW Dynamite, it featured a segment where Penta and his manager, Alex Abrahantes, traveled to a graveyard. Abrahantes could be heard in a voice track speaking over the video, saying his signature, quote, Penta says catchphrase over and over as he explains that Malachi Black's Black Mist has forced a change in Penta. A darker lucha mask is seen extracted from a gravesite as the video cuts off. Last week, Penta and Pac teamed up in a losing effort against the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi and Brody King. As Death Triangle was looking to hit the Fear Factor, Pac got launched from the top turnbuckle. This allowed Black to spray the mist into Penta, which led them to connect with their double team finish for the victory. Penta's longtime tag team partner Ray Phoenix is still sidelined due to an arm injury he suffered on the TBS premiere episode of AEW Dynamite earlier this year. We will keep you updated on his recovery. Beyond his work in AEW, it was announced last month in a AAA press conference, Penta under his Pentagon Jr. name will be part of an 8-man tournament in AAA, where the final 2 will fight in a mask versus mask match at Triplemania 30 in October. In addition, Penta El Zero Miedo, the tournament will feature luchadors Blue Demon Jr., El Connect, LA Park, Psycho Clown, Rayo de Jalisco Jr. and Villano 4, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon, all putting their masks on the line in this tournament. So what are your thoughts on the stories covered in today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak for you again very, very soon.